Hello, hello, hello. I believe we are live in the Parent Support Network TV today. I'm here today with a very, very special guest, a friend or a person who's become a friend of mine over the last year or so due to our meeting and mutual love of the Nurtured Heart approach. So I have with me today Tim Green, who is the co-creator and chairperson of TeachMe, which is an incredible platform that I'll share with you a little bit more about in a moment. And Tim's going to tell you lots about it. But I thought I would just share quickly how Tim and I met. I think it was actually your partner, Tim. So welcome to you first.
Hi, Lillian. Hi, everybody. Great to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, I believe it was your lovely partner, Rose, who first saw a post that I did on another parenting platform. It might have, yes, it was, I think, and she told you about it, and then you connected with me and said, hey, I know about the Nurtured Heart approach. Tim had already studied it a little and had done some courses and was using it in both his parenting. So Tim, he'll tell you a little bit more about himself, but he's the dad of an amazing teen son and also a primary school teacher, which we have in common. So Tim, actually, we connected, we had a chat, and I was about to do another one of my Nurture Your Heart to Greatness courses, and I invited Tim to jump on, and he did, and he enjoyed it. So he can share a little bit more about that. But let me tell you a little bit about TeachMe. So it's based on natural law. TeachMe Skills is a mentor community that recognises ourselves and our youth as sovereign beings. So I love that. This means that we view human life as sacred, and it's taken as an irrevocable fact that we have inalienable rights, using some big words there, Tim, which cannot be removed by any external institution. A little bit of food for thought there. The TeachMe approach is a holistic and decentralised way of learning, a place to learn life skills, which isn't that what we want all of our children to do? So the TeachMe community provides learning and advocacy for our young to grow up empowered with the skills to actively engage in creating and participating in thriving modern communities. TeachMe Life Skills includes an online platform in which mums and dads and carers can find just the right mentors for their children to provide face-to-face and online learning for a range of topics. It also includes resource sharing and social networking for both mentors and parents as they bring together and build an amazing conscious community. So they're currently on the Gold Coast and northern New South Wales, but they are looking to cover more areas. So Tim, once again, welcome to you. I'm so excited about what you're doing, being a teacher and also just having a passion for really, you know, helping to empower children to be the absolute best they can be and to empower their greatness. And I think, you know, a lot of parents and caregivers at the moment are looking for options outside of what let's just call traditional schooling, and particularly with the events of the prior, you know, that stuff that's been happening in the last 12 to 24 months. A lot of families are looking for alternatives, and not all families can homeschool, right? So that's an option for some people, but it's not always an option for everybody. So I love that your TeachMe community is yet a different option for families. So tell us how it all came to be, why you're so passionate about it, and how it helps families, and, you know, how people can get involved. I've asked you to tell us a lot of stuff, so.
Yeah, remind me if I miss any of those questions, Lillian. So yeah, I mean, with all the craziness in the world the last couple of years, you know, that's some chaos to reorganize and restructure. And if we don't reorganize it in a way that works for the people, works for you and I and everyone in the community, then someone's going to reorganize that for us, possibly in a way that we don't really like. Yes. So so TeachMe, it's been a journey. We've been working on it for, say, the last 9 months, since about mid 2021. And we launched this February. So we've got our life skills groups happening around the Gold Coast. So I'll just elaborate on life skills for a little bit. So some of our mentors, so we've taken a little magic wand and all the people who may have been working as teachers before, we refer to them as mentors.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, a lot of those have come out of the mainstream education system with 10, 15 years, 20 years experience from all different walks of life, different types of experience. And now one thing firstly we're doing is what you might find in schools, for example, is that there's a lot of bureaucracy and they really try to cover everything, way too much content, especially in Queensland. I think we're the only state who tries to cover everything in the Australian curriculum. And it loses the quality because the teachers are forced, they're kind of whipped, you know, get the whip, go, 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 you have to finish everything. And they push the kids through it. And it's all a bit rushed and loses quality. So what we're doing with TeachMe is we're bringing that back to the important fundamentals and culling some of the things that really don't need to be taught as such from a mentor. And kids can get a particular passion for that if they want. They can learn it anyway or learn it at a later age. So we've got a focus on, you know, maths, English and science as the core fundamentals and how they are presented, and to, you know, kids and teenagers in an engaging way. Well, that's up to the mentors. It might be through craft, music, drama. They might integrate ancient cultures. So to do all of those things in a fun way. And one of the great things is that instead of kids being, say, at school in a class of approximately 25 kids, sometimes a little bit less, sometimes a little bit more, our groups, our learning groups, are groups of typically about 8 to 10. Sometimes they start off a little bit smaller, you know, you get those groups in the beginnings with 3 or 4 young ones, and then they build. But yeah, the youth come in and being a part of TeachMe, they really get that focus of being in a small group learning environment, face to face. So, you know, what they may have learned in, say, school over 5 days and then not even very well because it was rushed through, they can really learn in, you know, it could be 3 or 4 days. Some people might like 2 days in a group with TeachMe. So it's a lot more focused sort of focused learning environment.
Yeah, that's awesome, Tim. And I think, you know, like being a teacher myself, I remember back in the days back when I started teaching, the classes were closer to 30, and you just couldn't, you know, treat each child individually. You had to really generalize. And I can remember, you know, I've talked about this in the Nurtured Heart approach, giving more energy and connection and relationship to the kids who demanded my attention rather than the ones who really were there to learn. So I love the idea of it being in smaller groups and being personalized, and there, you know, the mentor can actually really look at the individual needs and wants and desires of the individual child. And also teach in a way that kids love to learn, which is through experiences, which is through fun, which is through, you know, like we can teach kids maths, you know, by getting out in nature and counting things and multiplying things and dividing things, and, you know, what percentage of leaves have fallen off the tree. You know, like we can teach kids a lot of stuff out in nature. I know my youngest son went to a Steiner school for some years, and that was very experiential based. So I love the idea of what you're doing. How logistically does it work? So people who are listening in might go, yeah, that sounds great, but how does it work? So if they're on the Gold Coast or Northern New South Wales and they've got, now what age kids did you say you're catering for?
It's from about that preschool sort of age up until about that 16, 17-year-old age. So
really it's the whole preschool, primary school, secondary school age.
Yep, that's correct.
Awesome. And are the group, so I'll let you answer my first question yet. So how does it logistically work? So if there's a parent or a caregiver who have school-age children that they'd like to get involved and they're on the Gold Coast or Northern New South Wales, how does it work logistically? Where do they go? How does that?
Okay, yeah, thanks. Can answer that question. So yeah, it is life skills. You're right, Lillian. It could be doing up a budget on a spreadsheet for a market stall. It could be a bricky's labourer who still needs to write clear and effective sentences in their report, so have a good command of English language, which I don't think actually does happen in school. That's for another day though. That's for another discussion, because I had a lot of experience teaching English as a second language. So school teachers don't really know much about grammar. So yeah, just to take the mystery away and help kids to write, be able to understand how language works. Could be changing a car tire, could be garden to the kitchen, cooking. All those things are life skills, right? So, and how it works as far as logistics and locations is, well, first of all, so TeachMe, as you mentioned, we come in from a common law and natural law perspective. So a big part of that common law is understanding the difference between public and private, and understanding how to step into the private as actually where you're a real live man, woman, a real live individual, as opposed to being in the public where it's sort of us, on paper. So stepping into the private, what we've done is we've created a safe space. A lot of the action as far as connecting with mentors and sharing shared sort of education and things like that does happen in our private members area. So that would be the first step for anyone, is to join through our website, which is looking fantastic, but it's still simple because all the actions are in the private members area. So once they're a part of that private club, they can social network, meet the mentors, keep up to date on what's happening in class, not classes, sorry, in the learning spaces. And it's that shared empowerment community as well, where we've got people like yourself, and home birth mums, and sort of the connecting the mind and body, the brain gym type of stuff. And I've got some breathwork facilitator friends who are looking to bring in soon.
Wow.
And so to answer that, to finish answering that question, we are decentralized learning. So it could be in a location that is centrally located for the mums and dads, so they can find a mentor in, or at least near their suburb. So it is decentralized in that way. It might be at a mentor's house or in a community center, something like that. We do also have shared learning spaces though. We've got a couple of fantastic shared learning spaces at the moment. One's in the Northern Gold Coast and one's in Southern.
Awesome. And
a benefit of those is if there's a few different groups in there and participating with TeachMe Life Skills, then, the groups can meet up for lunch breaks and, have morning circles together and things like that, have barbecues once in a while, all those sorts of things. And the two shared learning spaces we've been using, they're both totally different, but they're both amazing in their own ways. So they're really, really fortunate to have those two spaces at the moment.
What areas are they in, just for people listening in who might be interested?
So yeah, so to find out that, it's sort of in the private members area. But yeah, it's Northern Gold Coast, so anywhere around that. Sort of Helensville, Ormeau, from our sort of area. Could even travel there from a little bit further south, like Carrara. And then Southern is one of the places our mentors have been using, is out the back in one of the valleys on the south of the Gold Coast, in a stunning location.
Beautiful.
That particular one at the moment, that's a sort of, very stunning, with waterfalls and creeks and things like that. So
nice.
So it got the option to either go to one of our shared learning spaces. As we grow, we'll get another one on the Central Gold Coast, or maybe they just like to blend that more homeschooling environment, do it in a small community center or in a mentor's house or something like that. Sometimes people have, properties, big properties and things like that with lots of privacy that can be used as well. But yeah, we're really bringing that safe sort of space where the kids and teenagers can come and thrive without, like you said, people are interested in doing something outside of that whole school system now. So there's no threat of being coerced or anything like that in a particular way, or being singled out. And also it's that being able to give our teenagers that intentional influence of making sure there's other great kids around them, and they're not just hanging out at the mall where it's the blind leading the blind, and they're picking up bad habits. They can actually have other positive influences on them as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Like-minded people.
Like-minded, yeah.
And Matt, we've only got 3 or 4 minutes to go, so I'll just we probably need longer, but we could jump on another time. But so if a family was homeschooling, could they integrate this with homeschooling? So some homeschooling and some TeachMe?
Absolutely, they could. Yeah. Some homeschool parents are new to that venture, and some of them are finding it a bit overwhelming. So welcome to come to TeachMe however many days a week.
Yeah.
And I should give the pricing to be a member for parents at the moment. It's $60 Australian, or not exactly to the cent, because it's done in US, so it's $42 US, which is really close to $60 Australian.
Yeah.
And mentors can come on and explore the mental area as well and find the pricing there. And once they join and go through the joining process, so we're getting some details, then they're in the private members area and they can connect and find out more from there. We've also got a website, it's www.teachme.community. And our email, if you're seeking more info, is info@teachme.community. You can also join our email list as well. There's a link to our expression of interest form, our EOI form, on the website. So
awesome.
You definitely can find out more info as well.
That's awesome. I'll get you to pop all of those details in the comments below this live when we finish.
Sure, yep.
So that people can easily access those. So if anything that we've shared today has tweaked your interest, if you have children who you would love to come and experience, whether it be a few sessions a week or more like you can just do as many sessions as you like with the various mentors.
It is if say people choose 2 sessions, usually they can go along and do a few trials and check that they love it and it's the right fit for them. But once they do that, there it is, an ongoing commitment for the term.
Yes.
So they can pick and choose how many days and sessions, of course, but it's not a casual drop-in basis. They would need to commit to know once they're happy with it that it's an ongoing thing. Yeah,
thank you for clarifying that. I think I meant really more that they can choose to do it more full-time or a bit more part-time. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
So once Tim pops all the details in the comments below, please do reach out to Tim in one of those ways to contact him to find out more and to go and have a bit of a look around at what's happening there. So I can see this really growing, Tim. I can see more and more families, needing this sort of support, needing, but just not knowing where to get it. So let's get this out far and wide. If you're listening into this and you know some other families who could benefit, please share this. Share this far and wide, because we want to, give families the opportunity to have some beautiful alternatives like this. And it sounds like the mentors are amazing. It sounds like your locations are great, and the learning environment is fantastic as well. So just in closing, we have our next masterclass coming up. So Tim has participated in a few of our masterclasses and courses. So the next one is coming up on Monday, April the 18th, How to Parent Right Side Up to Improve Behaviour and Strengthen the Connections. And that's all about teaching the Nurtured Heart approach. On the actual masterclass, we will have Nathan, naturopath Nathan, who Tim also knows really well. Nathan will be sharing some great health and wellness information. We'll have another couple of guests on the masterclass as well. So it will go approximately 90 minutes, inside of 90 minutes. Monday, April the 18th, 8 p.m. You do need to register. And it will run live from this page that we're on now. So it will run live from the Parent Support Network on the evening of the masterclass. So you can jump on live. If you miss it live, of course, once you've registered, you can then catch the replay as well. So that's it from us today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Tim, so much, first of all, for your absolute passion for helping families and children to really be able to learn in a loving and connected and, beautiful way. I love how you say that, It's about, you know, that we're sovereign beings, and, you know, human life is sacred, and, you know, we want to be in a place that really embraces that. And, you know, and I think the thing I'll close with is, you know, different things for different people. What's that saying? Different, can't think of the saying now, but, you know, different families are looking for different opportunities for their children. So this is an option, particularly if you are a family that does like to look at things a little bit more alternatively and holistically. So I do urge you to connect with Tim and his TeachMe team, and let's help Tim to really spread this, not only across the Gold Coast and northern New South Wales, but as far as possible. And in closing, Tim, I'll let you finish off. What is the message, or the, you know, what do you really want any parents listening in today to really understand or learn or know about what you're doing?
Yeah, so I do want to say as well, Lillian's masterclass is outstanding. I can't fault anything about it. She explains it so well, and I'm going to be encouraging all the TeachMe mentors to jump on board and start to find out and practice NHA. Would be just so cool if we could have whole sort of learning hubs where all the mentors in that space are using NHA. That would be amazing.
Good.
And yeah, TeachMe, so it's very new. It's never been done before in this exact way. But we're established now for the last few months, and we're now just inviting more families in now that we've got something cool. Would love you all to jump on board. So you probably do have other questions, so please send me through an email, send us through an email. We get back to you as soon as we can. I hope I covered at least the basics today. And yeah, let me know if you need any more info.
Thanks heaps again, Tim. Much appreciated. Lily and Riki, parenting strategists from Parent Support Network, helping parents to enjoy happy and healthy children and relationships on purpose. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.